Welcome to Fahrenheit 451, Chapter 2, Vocabulary. I'm going to try this on YouTube, see if we get better participation in it. That's our opening shot. This is very high-tech, as you can see. This is what I want you to do. I want you to set up your notes on the bottom of the paper, write on the top of the paper, write Fahrenheit 451, Vocabulary Chapter 2, place the words in the left-hand margin and definition in the main note-taking area, place the part of speech in the left-hand margin and answer in the main note-taking area, place the etymology in the left-hand margin and answer it in your main note-taking area. Remember, etymology means the history of the word or where the word comes from. Instructions. Let's start at the top. For each word, read the sentence and decide based on context clues, and context clues is an EOC strategy, what is the meaning of the word. Look for the placement within the sentence, comparison words, how it relates to other ideas within the sentence. Write what you believe is the definition in your notes based on context clues, and then decide on the parts of speech which should be evident in how the word is used in the sentence. Does it describe a noun? Does it show action? Does it describe a verb? How is it used in the sentence? Then I want you to look up the definition of the word in dictionary.com, the etymology of the word, if there is one, in etymologyonline.com. And then here's my favorite part, and you're going to love me for this. You don't have to write sentences, but be prepared to use each word correctly. I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. You can pause at any time. Cadenced. It's used in this sentence. He talked in a cadenced voice, and when an hour had passed, he said something to Montag, and Montag sensed it was a rhymeless poem. If you're a musician, especially a drummer, you know what the word cadence means. How is it used in this sentence? And think about how the sentence ends. Since it was a rhymeless poem. Poems have cadences. What then does cadence mean? Again, this is high tech. Don't ask me the tricks of how I put this together. It's much too technical. Receptacle. Books were only one type of receptacle where we stored a lot of things we were afraid we might forget. We stored a lot of things we were afraid we might forget. Speaks of putting things away. So books are only one type of receptacle. What does receptacle mean? What does the prefix re mean? Always think about the words and what each part means. Inhabitant. The shocked inhabitants of the loud car staring, moving back from the man with the insane, gorged face. What does the prefix in mean? What is the root word? In is the prefix. Habitant is the root word, but what does that mean? And then you will find the meaning of inhabitants. Submission. The people were pounded into submission. They did not run. There was no place to run. What is the meaning of the prefix sub, and what is the root word? Sometimes when you put the prefix and the root word together, it doesn't give you a clear definition, but think about how this is used in the sentence. The people were pounded into submission. They did not run. There was no place to run. So what does that mean? What are they, by their lack of movement, what does submission mean? Profusion. This book can go under a microscope. You'd find life under the glass, streaming past in infinite profusion. What does the prefix pro mean? What is the root word? How do those two together tell you what profusion means? They go streaming past. If something goes streaming past, or if things go streaming past in infinite profusion, that gives you a clear understanding of what profusion might mean. Leisure. If you're in England, you would say leisure, but we're not. And this is a conversation between Montag and Faber concerning what is needed to be able to fully read books. Montag asks him, what is the second thing we need? And Faber says, leisure. And Montag answers, oh, but we've plenty of hours off. So Montag is actually using a synonym For leisure, what does it mean? Find out what that etymology is. I think you'll find that it comes from a French word. Insidious. No, not the movie. It comes from this sentence. It's an insidious plan, if I do say so myself. Faber glanced nervously at his bedroom door. To see the firehouses burn across the land, destroyed as hotbeds of treason. So he's talking about firehouses burning, destroyed as hotbeds of treason, and he's describing that plan. It's an insidious plan. What does the root word, what do this word mean in context of the sentence? And then make sure you go and look at what the root word symbolically means. Insidious, I think it's a Latin word. Dispersing. In the book it says some books were missing, and he knew that she had started her own slow process of dispersing the dynamite in her house stick by stick. So if you're dispersing something stick by stick, what does that mean? Find the meaning of the prefix dis, find the root word. Where else do you see words that start with dis or words that have the root word, the pursing part of it? Perfunctorily or perfunctorily. He glanced perfunctorily at it and shoved it in his pocket. This is one of my very favorite words in the world. What does the prefix per mean? What is the root word of this? I think you'll find its function. How does knowing both parts of the word help you understand the meaning? This is one of those great words all scholars should have in their vocabulary. Think of synonyms for it. Perfunctorily. Phosphorescence. I'm sorry about the crinkle here. I got caught in the rain yesterday. Phosphorescence. It comes from this sentence. Beatty's pink phosphorescent cheeks glimmered in the high darkness, and he was smiling furiously. His pink phosphorescent cheeks glimmered. Glimmered is the word that you need to look at here to get a clue about phosphorescence. And have you heard the word phosphorescence before, like, say, in science class? What could this mean? And why does Ray Bradbury use the word phosphorescence to describe someone like Beatty? Well, there you have it, my friends. That's it. No more. Ends with phosphorescence. Find those definitions. Figure out what the definitions are using context clues. Look them all up. Get a dictionary. Make sure the definition works with the sentence. Look at the etymology. Know your prefixes and your root words, and you're going to do much better on the EOC. Have these ready by the next class period. This is Mrs. Gross. See you later.